I am Matthew Listalia. I'm founder and chief strategist at Resilient Talent Solutions, a company that I started to bridge the gap between what CEOs and employees want. In recent years, the desires of employees have started to transform, and many businesses are struggling to adjust their organizations to accommodate this new landscape, as is evidenced in the last 2 years, but especially highlighted over the past 6 months, where we've seen record-setting voluntary quit rates in the United States. I believe that as a workforce, the US is now shifting into the third rung of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And this must be the new baseline for organizations who are in the hunt to find, acquire, and retain critical talent. Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another episode here where we're going to be talking about talent. We're going to be talking about resilience and how to build resilience with your talent in your organizations. Today, I wanted to talk about something that had been floating around. Last week got quite a bit of traction and figured that it was pretty pertinent to the show here. And that is the new infamous Netflix culture memo that came out. Right, very exciting stuff. Now, this memo stated, I have 2 different excerpts from this. You can find it online, super easy, Google search away, not hidden at all. So that's pretty cool. But I wanted to hit a couple of key paragraphs here that I wanted to discuss. One of which everyone is talking about, and another one I wanted to layer kind of against it. So the first one is, quote, "The thing we most value is working with talented people in highly creative and productive ways. That's why our core philosophy is people over process. Why we try to bring great people together as a dream team. Of course, any growing business requires some process and structure, but with our people-first approach, we can be more flexible, creative, and successful in everything we do." Right? That's quote 1. And the second one, which is the much more infamous and much more well-known aspect that a lot of people have been discussing. But if you've not heard it yet or are not familiar, this is it. And it's, quote, "As employees, we support the principle that Netflix offers a diversity of stories, even if we find some titles counter to our own personal values. Depending on your role, you may need to work on titles you perceive to be harmful. If you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you." All right, so this is what everyone has been kind of talking about and has been kind of making its way around the water coolers, so to speak. And so I wanted to dive into this and look at these 2 statements from the same culture memo and discuss whether or not these are contradiction in terms. You know, how can a company state that their core philosophy is people over process and then state later in that same memo that if you don't want to work on a piece of content that you should find another place to work, right? It doesn't sound like people over process. It sounds like, process over people. But most importantly, I really wanted to tie this into what lessons can be drawn from this action and what led up to it, and how that really applies to you and your business and your organization, and how you look at managing your most important resource, which is your human resource. All of the talent you got for you. So today we're going to dig in and we're going to find out. We're going to learn more about these statements, about this memo, and about how that applies to you and your business. Now, to the question. The obvious answer is whether or not this is hypocritical is yes. It seems like a contradiction in terms. A company cannot do this. Especially in the way that I framed it, like, are you people over process when you are saying that you are telling people to leave if they don't fit into your process? Because part of that process is having people work on titles that they're not comfortable with, right? That's the process. You have to work on these titles. You could amend that process, say you only have to work on titles that you are comfortable with, right? So that's sounds like a process over people. And so I wanted to illuminate this, right? So I framed it in that way, because that's the way that many people, especially some of the louder voices, are perceiving this. But I wanted to take you into my perspective and how these things are actually not just in alignment, but in like perfect alignment. They are intricately. My God, I am not on my A game today. But I wanted to talk to you guys about how I believe that these are actually in perfect and complete alignment. And I'll tell you how not only this can be true, but also why it matters and why you need to adopt this philosophy into your organization if you want to see long-term success over the days, weeks, months,